Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a Yahoo Finance article and 6 cannabis market predictions that are already coming true. Today with us, we have Dan Chemist, our CBD correspondent with Good CBD Products. So Yahoo Finance says that there are 6 market predictions that are already coming true. And the first one is that CBD market will explode. CBD, known as cannabidiol, a non-psychoactive compound found in cannabis and hemp, came to the forefront in 2018. They're saying that there's an estimated $1.3 billion market, up from $390 million, according to New Frontier data. And they'll go into explaining the CBD boom, but I think we've already seen it. It's been everywhere, and it's definitely coming true.
Well, Kron, as your CBD correspondent, one of the things that's kind of funny about that is on the ground, right? And the on the ground aspect of a market trying to sort through opportunity. Everybody wants to buy CBD. Everybody's been told that it's going to do marvelous things for them. And then at the same time, trying to establish legitimate, consistent channels and product and all of that, rapidly, right? Do anything rapidly and see what happens.
There's a lot of late entrants getting into the market, seeing that prices per liter or kilo was $7,000. Now that it's $3,000, a lot of those people are either unable to pivot to stay relevant or just unaware of other options, while other more savvy producers that have been in the game for a while are switching to more rare cannabinoids like CBG. I'm starting to see a lot of wholesale CBG. For some reason, that's going to be the next one instead of CBC or CBN or some other rare cannabinoid. So as the industry gets saturated, you're just going to see more new cannabinoids, which I think is good. I think people might be ready for that, even though people don't even understand what CBD is. We'll start to see that as more states legalize, which is Yahoo Finance's number 2 prediction that's coming true. More states will be legalized. I think you could pretty much just throw a dart and figure that one out. Illinois is the 11th state. And so we'll maybe see between the next 2 years, 5 or 6 more states come on board, including Rhode Island, Connecticut, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York. So in other words, the East Coast and Midwest are set up to experience a cannabis market boom. We just covered a Midwest market recap report on the Talking Hedge a couple of days ago. Talks about the research and investment in the cannabis market that's going to persist in the Midwest all the way to the Eastern Seaboard. And so, there's broke countries. Illinois is recruiting companies like Boeing. We saw Boeing leave Seattle to Chicago because of the tax benefits. And now Illinois can't even pay their own pension plans. The state is literally bankrupt. Pension plans are broke. And so it's really about revenue. This is about business podcast. The kaleidoscope in which I look through the lens is through finance. And I can see that these states are going legal because they need money.
Kron, here you go, right? The whole thing of Western region right now. And then, of course, come spring, you've got me dispatched over that way. It'll be really interesting to see if these different states learn from, some of the challenges that we've seen in Washington.
The Talking Hedge was reached out to. You were contacted by one of the top 4 Canadian cannabis companies asking to come into Canada and do some field research reports for them. And so one of the predictions that are coming true, according to Yahoo Finance, is the Canadian legislation will take full shape. And so according to a national survey released by Statistics Canada, weed consumption plateaued in the fall of 2018, which would make sense why they're reaching out to us, why they want you to go up there, do some field research, because things are getting a lot more competitive. They're starting to see that the capital is flowing out of Canada back into the US. And so things are going to get a little bit more competitive up there. They're saying only 15% of Canadians consume cannabis, similar to previous quarter. More men and fewer women reported consuming cannabis in Canada, and only 43% stated that they're still buying cannabis illegally. I guess that's a lot. Almost half is still buying from the black market. So that's apparently due to a couple of factors that restrict access. There's a retail rollout that's been slow, supply shortages and delays, and then edibles and concentrates aren't legal. What the article doesn't say is that the quality is so low. You're not going to have 43% go to the black market just because of inconvenience. It's going to be because the quality is terrible and the prices are too high. Who wants to spend $15 for a half a gram joint?
And this is where we've seen that, pretty much every market that I visited, there is actually significant underground activity happening. A lot of forces have come together. CBD pushing products off shelf, quality, etc.
So the next prediction, according to Yahoo Finance, is that companies are going to consolidate and compete in the cannabis market. The Talking Hedge has been saying this for a long time, that we are already in that stage of consolidation and forced mergers, which is capitulation. That's basically people just giving up and just folding or merging or being acquired. And so the article goes on to say that with any maturing market, consolidation is coming to the cannabis industry. It's already began in Canada, where large producers are expanding and buying up the competition. And so south of the Canadian border, we're going to expect to see more brands develop and grow. We're going to see them at a lower valuation because you don't have that ability to flood the market with speculation and drive that market cap up. I just saw that there was a company with an $800+ million market cap, and they made less than $80,000 in revenue. So that's just too much. And so a lot of people are going to come back down to the US and look for opportunities. So in 2019, the first weed producer went public on a major US stock exchange. There's other plant touching and non-plant touching companies that followed suit. And today it's increasingly common for cannabis companies to go public in the US and easier than ever to do so in Canada. So for investors and businesses alike, this means that there's an unprecedented amount of capital for expansion. And with value investors looking at the US with less speculation, I would imagine there's going to be a lot more consolidation as we're seeing that Canadian capital roll into the US into non-280E options like hemp, so that they can write off those expenses and then convert those into THC eventually. We'll expect to see more investment from outside industries, according to Yahoo Finance. There's less stigma, more opportunity in the cannabis market. There's large non-cannabis corporations that are taking an interest. Today, there was a $123 million stake put in from a large tobacco company into a Canadian company that I haven't heard of. We'll cover it later because I don't have the details, but that was a 20% stake. So that's putting the valuation at over $650 million for this company to be bought out, a 20% stake from a big tobacco company. Expect more investment from people as they shift from tobacco to hemp to beverages and so on. Beverages, tobacco, pharmaceutical, alcohol companies, as well as large scale retailers, they're all getting involved at various levels of the supply chain. And that means that there's creating a cannabis product, they're partnering for distribution, they're selling infused products, investing in capital and resources. So there's going to be a big shift as there's a correction in the economy. People will shift from, declining asset values into an increasing speculative opportunity like cannabis. And history shows that sin stocks always do well in a declining industry. So in the event that there's a market correction, expect that cannabis, tobacco, defensive stocks, anybody that produces weapons, those will all go up. Sin stocks always go up. And so there's an opportunity for more investment in the eventuality of a correction. There'll be even more people coming in. So predicted growth across global cannabis markets is the last prediction that Yahoo Finance has. There's legalization and market mature that are slowing and processing. So the majority of Americans and corporations are anticipating the legalization and boom. There's lots of stuff in the Senate right now for the States Act to kick the can down the road so the feds won't intervene, allowing the states to operate independently, as well as banking options. Once the banking options come, you can then lease equipment, you can scale, you can expand, you can speculate. So legalization and market maturation are slow process. And so making no mistake, the market growth is accelerating, expecting to see more legalization, consolidation, research, and products. So with recent developments like the Canadian legalization and CBD, they're transforming the industry, and all signs indicate that the growth that began in 2018 will continue well into 2020.
That whole thing, we've seen it. People started with Bs, billions. Now, every now and then, you'll see something talking about a global cannabis market with T's stuck to it, the T word, trillions. It just continues, Chronic. Again, I wonder about the day when we're going to see, essentially a container load of cannabis on an actual ship, right? It's not that far away, brother.
No, I was speaking last year with a company based in Canada that has about around 300,000 hectares. That's over 120,000 acres in Brazil growing hemp. And I was trying to get them to process it through Puerto Rico, which is the best place in the world for CBD companies and most US businesses. And so as the economy becomes more global, you're going to see people purchasing concentrate out of Colombia, which will be the big box store of concentrates. And you're going to start to see more people in regions that are able to manufacture and produce certain products like in Puerto Rico. I think all CBD manufacturers will have an entity in Puerto Rico because it is literally the best place in the world to do business with a 4% corporate tax cap. There's no other place on earth that offers those kind of benefits for US based businesses. So it's definitely going to be a global marketplace. Definitely going to be exciting. And with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.